Kuzo Zambo and a very warm welcome to Bhutan This Week, our weekly news magazine program with me, Shigyalsun. In our top stories this week, the National Assembly passed the Tourism Levy Exemption Bill 2017, which was rejected by the National Council. 7 years on and UN Convention on Disability Rights still not ratified. And a bright future for Yusimap, the new potato variety in Bhutan. Despite the rejection from the Council on waiving the tourism royalty of $65 per day for tourists visiting the eastern districts, the National Assembly passed the Tourism Levy Exemption Bill 2017. The bill was sent to the National Council for review. The bill intends to encourage more number of tourists visiting eastern Bhutan.
With this bill, tourists visiting eastern districts will be waived off the royalty of $65 per day for 3 years. The National Council members made around 7 objections against the bill. Some of the members in the National Assembly also re-deliberated that the bill contradicts the policy of high value, low impact. The Prime Minister, however, clarified that the bill will not affect the existing policy.
nyeba janka katechi jiudalu nyeba chi theunga ani tagobdu so shuni datuzumbe wachen shasho zonka du nalu zonka chi membela zonka du nalu dauchuni gi nankyonalu midang tourist domdi duntang nijege laboni mi so shuni tadi loktabbe sumtabbe ya senderu tenga chegi tashel tonta kechi chigel hab mioni me so shuni degidi zonka tunalu lochigi nankelu nyebadi namisamira myo se shuni.
The bill was proposed as the money bill by the government. Samtin Dolkar, BBS News.
The Works and Human Settlement Ministry has the highest unresolved irregularities amongst the ministries. This is according to the review report of the Annual Audit Report 2016 as of September 2017. It was presented by the Public Accounts Committee in the joint sitting of the Parliament.
The ministry has unresolved irregularities amounting to nearly 115 million Newton, and it is followed by the Ministry of Agriculture and Forest at 20 million Newton.
Shabdulin Kanalu saya sumja gepchu janga sidik majumi getahale saya chikje chushidi hapjidi de Shabdulin Kanalu imbe seshuni ani bedalu de hengesi sugi katole anichi de gadebe junjumina simigi.
Responding to the question, Ministry for Works and Human Settlement said that the ministry, other than the road construction, needs to procure many materials for infrastructure development.
Lamse cham chigira tenga chigi yupchi terbum beochin terbum chudamgi de la ngache de ino nitong chujile de benigi kutuchi se shunila de namsami ki porchi toto de dinalo yupchi tanga chigi khabab 지워진 때 카밥 잘 합배 때디나로 코둑기 라이 때 레귤 데 남섬이 때 봄이 세슈닐라 때디나로 코둑기 라베오달로 때디나로 때라 짐파 레샤베 베갈렌 때디나로 때라 라렌 탑달로 때 다마 라렌 마타비 헤마디나로 라 튜브달로 때 라렌 탑달로 때디나로 때 탑디우 마디우 노르와 춘쿠레 때 가데베 주메 세슈닐라.
Meanwhile, Tashiangsi is reported to have the highest unresolved irregularities of over 20 million Newton, followed by Linsitsongkak. Pemasalun Sring, BBS News.
The Royal Audit Authority observed several deficiencies in managing the water network system in Thimphu municipality. The mismanagement has led to shortage of water in Tromde area. RAA found out that the Tromde provided drinking water connection to car washing units and failed to levy charges. This is one of the lapses pointed out in the performance audit report, which was submitted to the Parliament.
Thimphu has in total 28 commercial car washing units. Out of 28 units, 9 are provided with Tromde's water supply and the rest have their own private water connections, mostly from Olarungchu. The RAA found out the Tromde has failed to levy charges to the 9 car washing units. Despite having adequate water sources, RAA said that this might be one of the reasons why residents in Babisa and Olakha do not have sufficient water. Officials from the Royal Audit Authority said the utility of water should be prioritized. Officials said treated drinking water shouldn't be used to wash cars and in swimming pools, among others, when there are frequent drinking water shortages in some areas.
The practice in the all-around workshop area, what these workshop owners have done is they have a sort of association within the workshop owners, and they draw water from the all-around sula, which should be perfectly fine and normal. If we draw the water from the all-around and wash car, I mean, we would not need a pure drinking water to wash our car, I guess.
Responding to the findings, Thomde officials said there are no rules that states the car washing units cannot use the treated water. However, they said they might come up with other alternatives like providing water from the river to implement the recommendations and improve the system. The Thomde has started levying charges to the car washing units 2 months ago. Samtan Tolkar, BBS News.
From this year on, the National Statistics Bureau will carry out the Labour Force Survey instead of the Labour Ministry. The Parliament approved this as recommended by its Public Accounts Committee.
The committee put up the recommendation while reviewing the performance audit report on employment generation and promotion initiatives by the Royal Audit Authority.
Tevada layoki thega hebdal henghadi soso ladi sosalu layoki gogap te layok yesagi sagudi soso bendigi te dewa thapko blasha du thenga soso da lehung soso tomato lesha thapgoni digi te yamchin da layol henghagi membe te daji nale dudi phidu sumbe te ngachiregi da keshung chiche gi te iksanalu te digi tammaduji di mejoese
망치 속중기 데빌 피도 좀베 나라기 카툴레 데 라왕기 속데 레데 멤버 두기 지세케 계속이 카툴레 데 베고베 데베 베베와진 마투민두 세슈니.
Although the recommendation was passed through majority of the members voting in its favor, there were a few members who had reservations.
다친스바나 답 마디오 마틴 데리기디 레미기 땡아치르기 니슈디 뜬 마스미디 때 고토 당바 대중 때 곰마테 나기 세드레 때 가게 켄 데리나 콩기 셀든 때 뱀마투블레 땡디기 베때 담마디 충구디 때 딜레 튀야시 때 안에 별리 땡디기 다토나 니슈날레 때다 셀든디 거칠레 땡디 마비나서달로 다 코랄 링게 슈즈기 카탈레 샤송리 줄라 때 독바디 데리기 레미기 습스키 니슈날로 독바 차추니디 가기 베이서 진 행기슌스 코나기브라 때 차라 코나기 때 제시 슈닐라 디디 때 라나스기 숙디기 차로를 샤바진 때 답디 디라디
던딥디고 태고 협다디 다 나라 디디 남메 사미기 니든 삽친기 다 냥하친기 던딥 좀 집에 좀 데베 좀 슈닐라 인디펜던트 보디기 마 10살디 베달로 네수디수가 알아 발라일 행카노이메 다 라일 행카나로 유비기 계속디수랑 같이 로마티브도 집에 와진 대래 아니 시세대 아니면 발라다 레버 포스 기 서비디 다 라일 행가기 십도디 베고니메 임달로 나라 카툴레 던딥디 렉처리 베신달로 베 다티 소소베 시수 가자 숨바기 라와친기 숙디레 쪼고 민노 아니 인디펜던트 디비전지 둘로 야로 스태티스티컬리 계속 이미 야로 텔렘불레 와스미노 중실레 와스미노로 디비전날로 스태티스티컬리 계속 이미로 디비전 소소베 수디도 때 아니 베들로 드롱아치 겔치 파 겔룡 시치 퀴즈노 쪼고 살아뱅갈레 겔룡 시치 퀴즈날로 미 가즈미비나 콩기 계속 같이나 아니 소양아치 투지난 것도.
The committee also pointed out that of the 9 recommendations the RAA has proposed, 4 were fully implemented and 5 implemented partially. The performance audit on employment generation and promotion initiatives was carried out from 2010 to 2016. The first labor survey was conducted in 1998. This is Sringdandu, BBS News.
The Prime Minister says the government's plan to corporatize the Jigme Dorji Wangchuk National Referral Hospital was never to make Bhutanese citizens pay for medical services. The National Assembly decided not to corporatize the hospital.
Speaking to members of the media, Prime Minister Tasho Tringtopge said corporatization would have given the National Referral Hospital the independence to give equal pay for equal work.
the po kijungi the nangobe snodigi be ngachi tapshi chidi the corporatization ngachi lezen be zonilu the tapshi todigi be the lezen be the zoachin se tundi be tadi mache.
He added false news on making people pay for medical services was spread despite the government's repeated clarifications.
Migildi legend indra beskeru the mi rerenigi the sugderenigi the inchiminchi the turkeni mes jungi kate chi sende the shuru the nyamatu the debara the tachap yapsol tendigi be the mise sagelamni ani shuni.
However, the Prime Minister said expansion and improvements will be made to hospitals across the country despite the government's failed corporatization attempt.
Achigi lesin zowachin cheregi tapshitenda sodalu tunsusugi the shipsel bewiga yu shuni ani shipselgi nyenjusu the ngachilu hyptalu the nyenjunalu the koragi nyufoya katebe sensuga lesin mazowa 가데베야 세수가 거라기 터블릭 가데베 유비나 따디기베 대안에베 타치스님의 수준이.
Tasho Tringtopge added that free medical service is a gift from the throne and will remain so. Sharab Dorji, PBS News.
Lives of many persons living with disabilities might change for good if Bhutan ratifies the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities or CRPD. But loss of constraints has it put on hold since its signing in 2010.
Once Bhutan ratifies the convention, persons with disabilities might get access to facilities designed as per their needs, which is not the case today. It might also help them get full inclusion in the society and make them confident, independent and contributing citizens.
I personally feel, working at Rakso, that Bhutan should actually ratify the CRPD so that our persons with disabilities have access to all kinds of facilities, be it information and technology, be it education, or be it any kind of infrastructure.
We're going to put more emphasis, more than likely, into making sure that the new constructions in Bhutan are friendly to those that are disabled. Another area where we will benefit from ratifying the convention is we will strengthen data collection. So we actually know where and who the most disabled are within the society. And that'll make sure then that the limited resources that the Royal Government of Bhutan has will be targeted at those most at need in the locations where they are most at need.
But ratifying the convention would mean fulfilling a lot of UN obligations, and Bhutan is not ready for that. During a National Council session recently, Foreign Minister Tamcho Doji was cautioned on why the government has not been able to ratify it.
the nyejunalu nga chegi bego ta chatimda shin da tigol na amsemi do te disu te dub masuzun juojin te nga chegi ta te yami be shajab gi transu nga chegi te tinalu te tikhung mebi gi transu te de joni nyanga du se dibe.
The minister said, nevertheless, a high-level task force carried out research on the legal and technical perspectives of ratifying the convention and submitted the report to the cabinet. Bhutan signed the convention with around 190 other countries during the 65th UN General Assembly. Pup Game for BBS News.
National Council says the government must honour the decision of the Parliament. The issue was discussed after budget approved for blacktopping the Chuzomsa-Puelandra road in Wandipodra never came. The Works and Human Settlement Ministry said it was a mistake. But the Parliament in the last session had approved a budget of 130 million neutrum to blacktop the road.
The National Council member from Wongde Phorong presented a brief background on the omission of budget approved for blacktopping of 22 kilometers Chuzomsa-Belangra route. The budget was listed under the activities of road sector to be funded by the Government of India. The members were disappointed by the fact that the Ministry of Works and Human Settlements said it was a mistake and reported that there is no budget allocated for the construction of the road.
Sani jungi icha khasum techi gyo khasum techi dinalera chago se shunila dizumera deta yelama sibegale de ne disubere de namsami jingila labi ne be gurugi ne belanda ne simiswe de namsami yamchenche to be phali yobali tindigibe de tisugi shoada sho gara chidigibe de gyosumgi khatule na shabtul henkanolu sho bedigibe de changil diswe debera chajo durubi ing se shunila.
Members also expressed the importance of passing the budget bill in the parliament with extensive deliberation and the government's need to ensure its implementation.
Jurchere begop norware them bodo chibawachin henka beruta shungi khatulera beruda chisolura nawa shugo seshunila chisogi beshimda di chametango lecture bego tinen bego seshunila
shungi khatule lotargi charngil dingajina sokhana subdalo japunda chepe suda aside.
The National Council also questioned on where the money has been spent if the activity was not included in the budget, raising doubts that it must have been spent on some other project by the government. The House resolved that the government and the ministry should honour the decision of the parliament and they should implement blacktopping of Chuzomsa-Belangra route. Sonam Phunso, BBS News.
The National Council says there is no clear directive concerning the payment of leave encashment to local government members both from the Home Ministry and the Department of Local Governance. The Council says the Third Pay Commission did not make any recommendations for such entitlements despite legal provisions stipulated under the LG Members Entitlement Act 2015.
The government presented the pay revision report for members of the local government to the National Council during the last session with the intent of revising the salary, allowances and other entitlements of the LG members. The National Council proposed and adopted recommendations related to travel and communication allowances and leave encashment.
Desani shungi tumi disule bodolo sokjogi ngesugi tega hebde sokjogi ngesudi kholo toptan do huse de sokjogi ngesugi tega hebde de konregi ngesudi malim doji bawachin digi thu de da nyuchangbe joinigi sui dos shunila dane bodolo dare machiregi sani shungi tumi disugi tega hebdalo de tato lamlu chi hinsansa be shizube matsube shunila.
The National Council members supported the proposal, saying that the government, Ministry of Home and Culture Affairs and Ministry of Finance must uphold the rule of law and implement the provisions of the LG Members Entitlement Act 2015. The members also said there is a need to provide clear directives to the local government officials at the earliest about the entitlements instead of waiting for the endorsement of the rules and regulations by the Cabinet, which is reported to be in a draft stage. The House resolved to consider the proposal made by the members and unanimously adopted the proposed motion. The final motion will be forwarded to the government. Sonam Phunso, BBS News.
The Phinsiling-Tagana passenger bus caught fire recently in Phinsiling. The incident supposedly took place after the dashboard of the bus got heated and started its engine automatically. The bus then moved on 150 feet towards the Road Safety and Transport Authority building. It rode after the stairs and entered the corridors of the building. The police immediately intervened and saved the building from fire. Police are still investigating the exact cause of the incident. There was no one in the bus during the incident. The new variety of potato called Yuisimap can revolutionize potato farming in Bhutan. It can address stagnation of potato yield and diseases. The National Potato Coordinator presented this in the Research Symposium of Bhutan Ecological Society recently.
High nutrient supplement to good yield production is what sets these red potatoes apart from the potatoes people consume on a daily basis. The new variety has already gathered positive feedback from the growers.
We have diseases like leaf blight, a fungus disease, and we need to have solution for that. and then this new variety is also moderately tolerant, resistant to this disease. This particular variety is high in iron, zinc, and moderate in vitamin C. So that is the reason even if they consume only potato, they will meet at least certain amount of mineral nutrients from eating this new variety. When we compare with the existing variety, it yields more than twice in the total production.
The new variety was released earlier this year and has been taken to 10 districts and is doing well due to its good yield. The centre plans to introduce it to more places. It was imported from Peru and is yet to hit the market. Sunampem for BBS News.
Safety at workplace will be the new criterion contractors will soon have to fulfill before the Construction Development Board awards them work. The Department of Roads said the move will ensure the health and safety of those working in the construction industry.
Considering the present scenario, which focuses on progress and quality of the works, not much attention is paid to safety and health of those working in the industry. Of the many registered contractors with the Construction Development Board, only a handful considers the health and safety of their workers. But now, the trend is bound to change.
Just now, the safety feature doesn't appear anywhere. For example, when we evaluate the contractors to award their work, one of the criteria is the contractor's past performance. So when we rate the contractor's past performance, for which we get 10 marks, maybe we can include their safety record as one of the criteria for that 10 points. That will be helpful in including safety feature in our contract documents.
Currently, while the Labour Ministry monitors the safety of the employees in the construction industries, due to lack of manpower, site inspections is not so frequent. Moreover, the Ministry does not have trained and competent personnel for such tasks. However, the Labour Employment Act imposes penalty on those who do not comply with the provisions of the Act.
Any employer or the construction contractor who violate or contravenes any section of the regulations, the first instant penalty that we impose is the national minimum wage rate to a maximum of 360 times the national minimum wage rate. And for second instance, if the employer or the contractor are not willing to comply or rectify any contravention, so court may impose misdemeanor and felony of 4th degree also.
He added there is a lack of cooperation from both employer and employee, as purchasing safety equipment is an additional expense.
If the people are working in the industrious area with the repeated and like welding, then hammering, then I think vibrations, I think that is also hazards. And if it is related to chemicals, most of the industries, they use chemicals. And I think some chemicals are very hazardous. And if they don't manage the chemicals in a proper way, then chemical process hazards and they develop the diseases like respiratory diseases, and even it leads to cancer.
The chief representative of JICA Bhutan said there are a few areas where Bhutan can improve by adopting the best practices that Japan shared during the workshop on health and safety in the capital today.
In case of the Japanese contractors, if they fail in meeting the requirements for the safety management, they are not eligible for the next bidding process. So that way, we have already introduced the kind of the system of reward and punishment. So well, I hear that there is no such a system here. So we would like to share our good practices with government officials of Bhutan.
Today, there are over 4,000 contractors registered with the Construction Development Board. Pupgam for BBS News.
Well, that's all we have for you this week. Thank you for joining us. This is Ishi Galson saying goodbye.